Aging is often referred to as the price we pay for living, but as our scientific understanding of biology deepens, this notion is beginning to seem more like a tragic inevitability than a permanent condition. The idea that in 50 years we could stop aging completely, or at least significantly slow it down, is rapidly gaining traction in the scientific and investment communities. With immense sums of money flooding into anti-aging research, the promise of staying young forever is becoming tantalizingly close. But is the science backing these claims as robust as it seems? Or are we just chasing a dream that may end in disappointment? Aging, in its simplest form, is the result of cumulative damage to our cells and molecular structures over time. The longer we live, the greater the accumulation of this damage, ultimately bringing us closer to death. Yet, scientists are pursuing ways to slow, halt, or even reverse this process. This area of research has exploded in recent years, but with such rapid advancement, there are valid concerns about the long-term consequences of meddling with nature's biological clock. One of the most popular theories about aging is the disposable soma theory. This theory suggests that, from an evolutionary standpoint, organisms prioritize reproduction over maintenance and repair. Once an organism reaches reproductive age, evolutionary pressures to preserve its body diminish. In simpler terms, nature is not designed for longevity. It's designed for survival and reproduction. As a result, once we reach a certain age, the body begins to deteriorate at an accelerated rate. While this theory provides an interesting lens through which we can understand aging, it does not fully explain why some species, like the Galapagos tortoise, can live for over a century without significant age-related decline. If aging isn't an absolute biological necessity, could it be possible to change the way we age, or even stop it altogether? Scientific experiments from as far back as the 1930s have demonstrated that aging can be slowed. For example, Clive McKay's groundbreaking study on rats showed that restricting their diets could extend their lives by as much as 30%. This diet restriction seems to mimic the effects of evolutionary pressure, forcing the body into survival mode rather than reproduction. However, the idea of using hunger or calorie restriction as a solution for aging is deeply problematic. While the extension of life might be appealing, the quality of life would likely diminish as the body struggles to operate on limited fuel. The need to find a more sustainable way to slow aging is urgent, yet in many cases the solution seems to be elusive. In the 1990s, breakthroughs in gene manipulation revealed that aging could be influenced by altering specific genes. Researchers like Cynthia Kenyon discovered that a gene called DAF2 could essentially double the lifespan of roundworms. This was a game changer. It indicated that aging might not be a fixed biological process, but something that could be tweaked at a genetic level. However, while this discovery is incredibly exciting, it also raises red flags. Genetic manipulation carries significant risks. The irreversible nature of gene editing could lead to unintended side effects, and the long-term consequences of altering the human genome are unknown. More recently, the field of epigenetics has offered a new avenue for slowing aging. Rather than changing the genes themselves, scientists are looking at how these genes are read and activated. The discovery of factors, known as Yamanaka factors, has shown that it's possible to reprogram a cell's biological clock, effectively turning it back to a more youthful state. While this may sound like science fiction, epigenetic reprogramming has shown potential in lab settings, especially in mice. Yet, despite the promise of these treatments, there is still much we don't know. Will this type of intervention be safe for humans? And how will it impact the aging process as a whole? While some researchers are making headway with gene therapy and epigenetic reprogramming, others are turning to more unconventional methods. One particularly bizarre example is the practice of parabiosis, which involves linking the circulatory systems of an old animal and a young one, allowing the old animal to benefit from the youthful blood of the younger one. While this technique has been shown to extend the lifespan of animals, its safety and ethics are highly questionable. And even if it works, it raises another troubling question. What are the real costs of aging? Is the real issue about extending life at any cost, or should we be focusing on improving the quality of life in our later years? Pharmaceutical interventions are also gaining attention in the anti-aging field. Drugs like dasatinib, metformin, and rapamycin have been found to slow down aging processes in animals and are now being explored for human use. These drugs target specific processes associated with aging, such as inflammation and cellular damage, which are linked to various age-related diseases. While these treatments are promising, they're far from a magic bullet. The fact remains that these drugs are not a cure for aging. They merely alleviate some of its symptoms. And with many of these therapies still in early stages of research, it's impossible to know their long-term effects. Despite the allure of a future where aging is a thing of the past, we must be cautious about putting too much faith in this vision. The truth is that most of these treatments remain experimental, and while they show promise in controlled lab settings, there's no guarantee that they will work in humans. Furthermore, the social, ethical, and economic implications of radically extending human life have yet to be fully considered. If life expectancy were to increase significantly, we might face new challenges such as overpopulation and the strain on our healthcare systems. The idea of living forever or significantly extending our lifespans is seductive, but it's important to approach these advancements with a critical eye. We may be on the cusp of a revolution in aging research, but as we chase the dream of eternal youth, we must remain mindful of the potential risks and unintended consequences. Are we ready to confront a future where the science of anti-aging becomes commonplace? Will the world be able to support longer lives, or are we rushing toward a new form of social inequality? Only time will tell, and we must proceed with caution as we venture into this uncharted territory.